Hi, this is Joseph, and this is looking at Q action on April 2nd, 2020. I'm just going to talk about a high momentum or high speed reversal and how I catch them. So one thing I'm looking for is price to become sort of neutral around 10:30, and then for session one move to be put on. News often gets dropped in that zone right there, time zone. So anyway, something does get dropped and it takes off. Notice the Shanzi Bollinger Band 2 triangle buy signal there. This pops into a buy trigger zone. That's Chris Moody. Stochastics pop 1. And this is Connor's RSI. You can see it popping early. And this is tick. And you see it popping early. So it's off to a big run. So how do you know when that's going to stop? How do you know when it's going to reverse? Sure, it could move in. It could crash into some resistance, and if it's into yesterday's range or into a prior resistance, I'd be looking at that. But let's just say you're just looking at this for pure signals. What I do is, as soon as it has a decent move, like an ABC or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll lay in the trend line, and then I'll run the point of control off the volume profile for that leg, and keep extending it, and looking for a little space to form, and then all of a sudden price or point of control to move to price. That means that's the heads up. That means that's the biggest traded volume module, the biggest churn level in this whole run. You can see how it flattens out, and I box it in. But what I'm looking for is the trend line to break. I'm looking for point of control to move to price, price to break point of control, trend line to break. And then when that occurs, I know there's a chance of a reversal. And then I'm looking closely to see which side of this line the new orders defend. And in this case, they do defend down. And there you go. You're running perfect retrace. But notice how the Shanzi Bollinger Band 2 signal confirms right there, right at this intersection of point of control breaking, trend line breaking. This starts arcing down, gets into the exiting zone there. This gets into sell triggers down here. Notice how tick pops comes below 0, so up-ticking stocks minus down-ticking stocks are going to the negative, which means there's more down-ticking stocks. And when a broad order goes in across the market, it shows up in tick first. All of a sudden, there's a bunch of negative ticking stocks. And then a little bit later, you're going to start seeing it in the high betas and then the ETFs like this. Notice the Connors. So this peaks back there, so it was already a divergence up there. And then the Connor's RSI, all of a sudden, it's green all the way through here, and all of a sudden it gives a red signal there, pops green for a second, and goes back to red, and then starts sustaining down there. Whenever it sustains below one of these extreme lines, then it starts pulling. So, but basically, all I need to see is you actually do see momentum slow, but you see point of control move to price. That's the heads up, because then it's the biggest churn level. Then the trend line breaks, then Shanzi Bollinger Band 2 optimized kicks in, and it's going to go down. And that's what I'm looking for. And there's, notice the little head and shoulders in there. Nice roll off the right shoulder there. It's got all kinds of things happening, but the main thing I look for is to run that leg in the point of control, fixed range, watch it go to price, watch it price break it, trend line break, and you're off to the races. Tends to happen that way. It's not always, doesn't always happen that way, but it tends to happen that way. So when you see this box break, because the second there's a consolidation like that, it starts flirting with the trend line, and point of control moves up, then the box becomes valid, and people start lining up sell orders below it and buy orders above it. And then once it breaks through there, not only do the sell orders trigger, but the long stops are in there. So that's additional sell orders. So, boom, there you go.